This was by far one of the most interesting trips to Colorado I've ever had. Matt and I headed out from Dallas and decided to camp at Sugar Right State Park near Raton, New Mexico. Elias and Royce were headed up from Houston and got a late start, so they decided to stop in Amarillo for the night. Bad idea. The boys get up the next morning and lo and behold, the trailer and the bikes are gone. Turns out Amarillo is among one of the worst cities in the country for auto theft. But my boys weren't going to let some low-life thieves ruin their vacation. They headed to Colorado Springs, and within 12 hours they had 2 new bikes and a trailer. That's some resourceful guys. On our first day of riding, we ran into some private land on Bull Gulch, so we had to backtrack a bit. On the way back out, Elias found a single track that we decided to explore. It was a little hairy with a lot of downed aspen trees, but it turned out to be a really nice ride. Matt had a new Cardo unit in his helmet. He was a bit technically challenged. Matt, you okay? I could hear him mumbling about some damn aspen tree or something. But he couldn't hear me. Matt, you okay? Matt, are you okay? Up on top of Aspen Ridge. What a beautiful view. The trail popped us out in Salida, where we got a few snacks and then paved it back to Buena Vista to relax at camp and call it a day. Yep, Hancock is rocky and steep. No matter what you're riding, it's a challenge. That's nasty, man.
I see him going all over the place.
It was definitely a stop and go kind of hill climb. You had to just take a minute, catch your breath, and go at it again. It was a lot of fun. Could you take a big adventure bike up this? Probably so if you're an expert rider, but it wouldn't be fun for me. There is an advantage to being 6'4" when you're going up a really rocky mountain. It was a pretty tough climb, but the view from the top is so worth it. The road from the top of Hancock down to Pitkin was easy compared to coming up. A stop off at Silver Plume General Store is a must when visiting Pitkin. Always a chance for good camaraderie with other riders, and even a good place for a short nap. After our stop in Pitkin, we headed toward Tater Lake over Cumberland Pass. It's an easy Jeep road, passable by just about anything with enough clearance. After Cumberland Pass, we cut off at Slaughterhouse Gulch to take the long way to Taylor Lake. This is a really favorite trail of mine, especially going down. If you choose to go up it, be careful because you will inevitably meet a side-by-side on the tight switchbacks in the woods. It's steep and rocky, so it's really hard to get started once you stop. After a stop at the Taylor Lake General Store, we picked up the pavement, went over Cottonwood Pass, headed back toward Buena Vista. This pass used to be unpaved. It's paved now, but it's really still a lot of fun. The view just doesn't get much better than this. If you haven't done the Colorado Backcountry Discovery Route, I could highly recommend it. Section 3 of the COVDR out of Buena Vista starts in the 4-mile management area east of town. It's one of the few mountainous areas in Colorado that you won't find a lot of rocks. Hardpack with a bit of sand here and there, and it flows really well. This was a fun start to our loop up to Leadville. Day 3, and we're really pretty lucky. All we've had is a kickstand spring fall off and Matt's Amazon special bar risers not holding.
It's up too high and I can't.
Yeah. When you're standing or when you're
sitting or standing, especially standing.
At 10,152 foot, Leadville is the highest populated city in the U.S. On the way back to Buena Vista, we did a really fun section going out of the backside of Leadville. I was having so much fun, I forgot to turn on the camera. Another great day of riding and beating the Texas heat.
Only then do this. No one else.
The boys were giving me a hard time about my camp habits. I don't mind getting dirty on the trail, but I like to keep the campsite nice and tidy. Matt was itching to ride Greens Creek, so we thought we'd give it a try. Turns out, it's like a single-track version of Hancock. We went up it a ways, and then decided that it just wasn't worth the effort. Maybe next time on the 2 strokes. Coming down was definitely easier than going up, except when you had those close encounters with the hiker. After getting down from Greens Creek, we headed back over to Salida and picked up the Rainbow Trail. It's designed for bicycles and motorcycles, so we kind of knew it wouldn't be quite as technical as Greens Creek. But there are definitely those pucker moments.
Oh, love it. Don't look down. Don't fucking look down.
As long as nobody gets hurt, I must say that watching people go down is part of the fun. . Royce was doing just fine until that front tire left the trail, and then you know what happens. Above 9,000 foot on a carbureted bike, take my advice and adjust the air screw before you go up.
The front nose just washed out a little bit.
No, when it does that, I mean, you're gonna go down. After a short rest, we finished up the day by riding Sand Road 7 a little further east on Highway 50, and then headed back to Buena Vista on the tarmac. Triad single track is pretty unique. It's gated off so that ATVs can't get in, but there have been enough motorcycles on it that have made the track pretty wide, so it's a lot of fun. As we were riding, I was thinking, wow, this trip has gone really smooth. No major problems with riders or bikes. Little did I know it was all going to happen on the last day. Royce was riding a 2021 KTM 690. He had pulled over because his seat wouldn't stay connected. Come to find out, the upper subframe where the tank connects had broken on both sides. Elias decided he would go to Buena Vista and do some shopping, so we headed back to camp to switch bikes and let Royce ride the 2015 690. When we got back to the trail, it wasn't long before I noticed nobody was behind me. I turned around, and lo and behold, Matt had done a Superman right over the handlebars.
Landed on his shoulder, but luckily it was in the soft stuff.
All right.
Back to camp one more time to drop off Matt, and now we're down to 2 riders. Riding with Royce was kind of like riding with my son Sam. You only see him when he breaks down or crashes. Youth does have its advantages. These guys must be used to the motorized vehicles because they didn't bat an eye. We ended the day back in Buena Vista, did a little t-shirt shopping, and then headed back to camp to pack up for the trip back to Texas.